For crying out loud, Manny. Pick up your mic. You're on air.
Hello, hi. I was just turning my
Jeez.
phone off.
Yeah, we were actually talking about how. Well, this is Thin Lizzy first and foremost, and we don't own the rights to the song, do we?
But if we did,
We wished. If we did, we wouldn't be sitting here. Oh, and Manny just said something really funny. You were asking where the camera is.
it was right there.
Yeah.
Okay.
Can you see it? See the blue?
Yeah.
See the blue light?
Yeah.
Not the one on the PA system.
No,
but
no,
the
I
blue
see
light.
it.
See?
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's only one cam,
Okay.
and you're straight up, like there. You can see yourself too.
I see myself there.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's capturing you right there.
Awesome.
See? Now you got it wired.
Okay. Well,
So
cool.
I mean, we were talking about the heat and strokes, and the heat strokes.
Heat strokes. Yeah. Not the band.
No, not the band. I wish. Anyway, this is San Antonio Musicians Talk Show Network. I'm here with Manny Santos for a long-awaited interview, man. It's been a long while, hasn't it?
It has been a long while. It's just like life seems to happen, and I'm like I got a day off, and then I don't have a day off. So it's just like I'm.
Speaking of life, again, this is Thin Lizzy.
Yes.
You know, so we don't own the rights, but we're going to go ahead and fade out on this bad boy. And
Professional fade.
Well, get to the talk.
Look at that.
Get to the talk portion. See,
Wow.
It's a professional live feed, right?
Yep.
Okay. And Manny brought his better half today.
Yes, she's been working.
Miss
over
Bertha, right?
There. Yep.
Miss Bertha. She's nice and quiet. She's got her headphones on.
Yep.
We'll,
She's not
we'll holler
listening.
through that.
Yeah. She's watching the simulcast right now. So.
You think so?
No.
You know, I haven't done streaming.
Oh, okay.
You know, only because I don't have my engineer. If I had my engineer here, I would feel a lot more comfortable. So I do record, which is lifelong. You can't erase that, you know.
No.
So it just works out perfectly for the show, for myself, and for you guys. Most specifically today, Manny Santos. Manny, you're with Acoustic 57 and BYFIST.
And Zero the Hero.
Zero the Hero. That's a
another
new one on me, man.
Old school. Now we've been around since like 2001, and we have 2 albums out, but
Zero the Hero.
Zero
does?
the Hero.
Oh my
and we
gosh.
did not get that from Black Sabbath because people say, "Oh, like I didn't even know there was a Zero the Hero song by Black Sabbath."
I didn't know that.
No, and
I started off with Black Sabbath.
no, there is a song called Zero the Hero, and everybody's like, "Oh, y'all are like a Black Sabbath tribute band." It's like, no,
No way.
no, not really. It's all original, just like BYFIST, all original, old school metal, and then Acoustic 57 is all acoustic music.
Is that originals or
No,
also
no, it's covers. It's just covers.
Covers.
And, yeah, me and my friend Paul Browski. He's a young guy. He's like 30 something.
Is it just you guys, or do you have another? You had
Well,
another cat doing percussion,
every now and then
right?
we have a cajon player.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, and it just depends on the venue, if it's big enough, or, you know, basically if they pay, you know, because
Yeah.
we have a
If
set.
you ever need a drummer, I'm in.
Do you play cajon?
No,
Oh, okay,
I don't
see,
dig
that's-
that groove. You know,
Yeah, that's what
that's not even percussion to me.
No.
No, but it's okay.
Well, when you're in an
it has its
acoustic
purpose,
setting,
yeah,
you know,
and it works. It has
yeah,
its purpose, no
it's-
doubt.
You know, so.
You know, it's all good. But Acoustic 57, you spent a lot of time on the Riverwalk.
Yeah.
That was cray. Last year, you spent a lot of time on the Riverwalk.
Yeah.
This guy that books you, your buddy boy that you just mentioned.
Yeah.
How long have you been knowing him?
I call him P-Paul.
P-Paul?
His name's Paul, but I call him P-Paul.
Okay.
He's probably about 35 years old, and I met him like 3 or 4 years ago in an ad that I put out on Craigslist looking for a keyboard player that could sing, that played guitar, rhythm guitar.
Yeah.
And he answered the ad, and I met him over by the Forum at a Starbucks, and we
Just hit it off.
Huh?
Just hit it off. with
We
the
hit
guy.
it off, and it's just like, and we were in a band called Unit 57, and it was a cover band, like, you know, guitars and drums and bass, like.
It's no relation to Heinz 57, is
No, it's not, but we kind of stole the logo.
it? You could have made money there.
Yeah, we actually, our logo looks like that, but then COVID hit.
Oh, hell.
Remember COVID?
Oh, no
Everybody
way.
remembers COVID. And
I don't want to remember.
All the bars stopped booking bands. So I told Paul, like, come to my house and, you know, we'll sit 6 feet apart. You know, you sit over there. And we just started playing acoustic guitars. And he started singing, and it was easy to sing with him, you know, like harmony and stuff.
Yeah, yeah.
And so I said maybe we could do like a gig a month, $50, $75, whatever. And we
So
started.
we're never asking for much.
No, we just wanted to play because there was nobody booking anywhere. And
Yeah.
even we played a place called Burnwood 68, and it was a barbecue joint. And
What's with all the numbers?
I don't know, but that's what it was called.
Okay.
And it was right there on Redland, I think, Redland Road. And
Redland Road number 1?
Uh-huh. And
Keep it
they
in
would pay us
context.
$100 and margaritas and barbecue.
Damn straight.
Yeah, and we're like, fuck yeah, it's like $50 and and then
That's musicians talk.
we got from, 1 or 2 gigs a month to 2 or 3 gigs a week.
Hey, speaking
and
of gigging,
Yeah.
repeatedly, Sul Ross University.
Uh-huh.
You went there.
I went to Sul
And you
Ross,
studied.
Old Sully, yeah.
You actually studied.
I studied music education and
Yeah?
music theory. And
Is that where you graduated with the teacher's degree?
yeah, I started in. I went to school in 1986. I started in 1986, and that's a long
What?
time ago. College, and I graduated in '91. And
That's incredible, man.
yeah, with the bachelor's in music education with the concentration in voice. I was a choir director for about 20 years, high school,
Wow.
doing high school and junior high choir, and the whole time playing music, So,
That's wild. I
yeah.
mean, I don't really understand how. My mother was a school teacher. Shout out to Connie, my mother, Concepcion Ocampo. She was a school teacher. She never had time for anything. She was always grading papers. Maybe today is a little different with computer.
Well, it's
now.
music. If you teach music, I mean,
Okay,
I
you're
don't-
out of the gig. You're out of having to.
Yeah, at
what do
the
you
end
say?
of at 3:30, school was over, and I had a professor in college named Rex Wilson. He was awesome. He
So
told
you
me
have your class after 3:30
no,
when school's out.
no.
Or it's the last class.
Yeah, it's done, and then 3:45 I go home, and he told me at 3:45 when school's over, it's over till the next day. He goes, don't take it home with you.
Wow.
But it's music. I mean, if I was a math teacher, I had to grab math, grade
Yeah,
math
yeah.
tests or whatever, or science or English.
So you're having to grade music scores?
No, I don't.
Thank
You
goodness.
Yeah, because the principals would, they would ask me, how are you? What's the word? Not evaluating, but how are you checking for understanding if these kids understand what you're teaching them? Because
Yeah.
you don't give them a test.
Well, if they can sing a note, they're okay.
Yeah, I said if they can play the music or if they can sing in rhythm and in key, then I did my job. In 34 years, brother.
You
34
did a phenomenal job. I put out this song called "I've Got Some Chicken,"
Oh,
and
yeah.
you and I got to thank you for this, Manny. Publicly, this is so funny. I've got some chicken. I've got some chicken, and I'm not that hungry.
anymore.
Not that hungry anymore.
Yeah.
There was a punchline to it, and Manny and his class took it up, and they first sang me that song. Then I went into the hospital and I said something like, I'm in the hospital or something. I just made up some other words. And they sang along with that too.
Yeah.
And you said, get well, Ed. This last guy at the long, hello, Ed. It's just so funny. So
And
I'll
they
be
were like a
playing that
third
before
grade
too long.
class or something, or a second grade
They were
class.
so cute, man. They brought me to tears, man, when they sang my song.
got
I'm like, I knew it was a hit.
Yeah, and we would sing it all the time just for fun, because you need a warm up in
Did
class.
are you listening, guys? I hit a jingle. I really did, didn't I?
It was cool. It was hip. They remembered it.
Yeah,
and
and
would
they
ask-
wanted to sing it,
Yeah,
right?
they wanted. They were like, "Let's do it again, that chicken." And then I turned that into okay, how many syllables does chicken have?
Oh my
And they
gosh.
go chicken 2, and so
What?
okay, so somebody tell
I
me
didn't even
another.
know.
Yeah, I would say, tell me another food, and they'd say pizza. I got some pizza. Yeah, okay. How about? And
You
then somebody
know-
say hard-boiled eggs, and we're like,
That's 3.
hard-boiled eggs.
It's
No,
not in
that's- no,
sequence.
It doesn't fit.
Yeah. Amazingly, I thought after I wrote it or I sang it in writing, right? I thought to myself, you could put any word in here, any
can.
word that kind of just works for it.
2
And I
syllables.
ended, 2-syllable word. Pancakes, hot dogs.
Yeah,
you know,
tacos.
tacos, yeah, something like that. That all works. Now I'm hungry. I want some chicken. But yeah, shout out to your 3rd grade class, right?
They were second graders.
Second graders,
Yeah,
man,
even
they sounded
better,
like
even
6th
better.
graders. They
Yeah,
all
they were
sang in
little
harmony.
ones, man.
They were singing beautiful, loud.
Yeah, it was like 21
They had no
part
shame,
harmonies
man.
and stuff.
21 part harmonies. That's
There was
funny.
21 of them singing different shit.
And your nickname, Malo. What's up with that?
Malo or El Gato.
El gato
El
or
Gato.
malo?
Malo.
Well,
I don't know.
gato because of your cat, so I'm making that assumption.
You see?
Okay, yeah, he's got. Oh, it's actually an alien cat.
It's a kitty cat scratching me. But
It looks like an alien.
He's got a treble
cat.
clef right there.
Yeah, but I see that as the head of the alien. I see a
This?
whole different thing. Yeah, I see a cat with alien head. And
wow.
maybe it's because I watch too much TV.
Maybe.
I don't know. I was watching. I won't tell you what I was watching. It was terrible.
Well, no, I won't say either.
The Twin Towers.
Oh, that's
That
pretty
fiasco.
brutal.
I mean, I'm sick. I'm sick. Sometimes the government just has its way, and I don't appreciate it. Anyway, back to talking. So, school teacher, your love of children, you know, and the children supporting the song, all of that, I thought was just phenomenal.
Yeah.
But what got you into music to begin with? At what age were you when you first decided, well, this is what I'm going to do?
I lived, if anybody knows where St. Paul's Church is on Babcock.
I do.
St. Cloud.
Yes.
Okay, so I went to school there in first grade, second grade, all the way through sixth grade, and then we moved. But across the alley, there was a guy a young guy that would sit back there and he would set up speakers and stuff, and he would put on like Kiss records.
Yeah.
And I didn't know there was other bands. I just thought there was Kiss. Really, I didn't know there was other bands. I
Didn't know there was even the Beatles. Huh?
No, I
You
had
passed
no
all that
idea.
era up.
I don't know what I was thinking.
But this just goes to show you that you can actually become a musician after the fact. You don't have to grow up with it.
Yeah.
And if you get an inkling, but go ahead with your story.
Well, so this guy, his name was Gerard Trevino, and they called him GT.
Why do I know that name?
He's a local guy.
Yes.
He went and played with Riot later and stuff.
Oh my goodness.
But he lived across the alley, and he would set up his stuff, and I would sit on my fence, or just on my fence.
Everything's better across the alley.
And watch, and I would just freak out, just like this dude's making this freaking noise with this guitar. And then one day he like called me over, and I jumped the fence, and I just sat there, and it was freaking. It was loud, and I was like, "This is freaking incredible."
Isn't it incredible, like how the amplifiers smell when you first run into them? You go walk up to them; they smell like leather.
Old tubes, yeah.
Old tubes, old tubes, leather sweat.
Yeah.
They smell some kind of weird funkiness of which you're attracted to, right?
Yeah.
So you say more amplifiers.
Yeah.
More amplifiers.
I love them, but he got me hooked, and then I was 8 years old. Ed, check this out.
Oh, you're counting on the fingers already. Yeah,
That's right.
8. He's got them right too. 8.
I was 8 years old, and I
teacher.
don't know how it happened or why, because I wouldn't do this with my kid. I have a daughter, but I was 8 years old, and my parents let me go to a concert with my cousin, who was older than me. And I didn't. He was like, want to go to a concert, man? And I was like, I didn't even know what a concert was. And so we went to the Convention Center Arena downtown San Antonio.
I loved
remember?
it back then. Yeah.
Hemisphere, and we walked in there, and it was just like thousands of people, and I had never seen that. It was the biggest crowd I ever saw was at the St. Paul's Festival, on a Sunday and shit, And we walked all the way to the front row, okay, and I was like,
All the way. The front row's best.
front row, and the lights went out, and the crowd. And I grabbed my cousin's arm, and I was like, dude, what's going on? Because I didn't know what was going on. And he was like, it's cool, man. Just check it out. And then I remember the curtain fell, and these 3 guys came out. And I was just like, I was mesmerized. It was 3 guys making a big freaking noise.
Who was it? Grand Funk Railroad?
Rush.
Rush.
It
Oh,
was
my God.
Rush. And I remember the backdrop of one of the songs. There was a bunch of trees. And they played the tree. I didn't know the song. But I was mesmerized. I was just like, in my head, I was like, that is what I want to do.
Wow.
That is what I want to do.
And how old were you?
I was 8.
8 years
Yeah,
of age. Well, that's about the age. No, I started when I was 4 years old. So.
Yeah. I mean, I had a guitar when I was 2.
Okay.
But I didn't know how to play it. I just had it. That was my little blankie, my guitar, like your teddy bear or whatever that you walk around with. It was one of those from Mexico with the fishing line and stuff. But anyways, that's when I figured out that this is what I want to do.
fishing line strings.
Yeah.
They stay in tune
Yeah.
for the most part.
So, let me finish. Can I just?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes,
So
this
I
is
wanted
your
to be
show,
a rock
Manny.
star. I wanted to be a rock star. I
You
saw
are?
Rush, and when I got out of my senior year in high school, my dad said, my mom and dad, rest their soul, both of them, where are you going to college? And I was like, I'm not going to college. I said, I want to move to California, to Los Angeles, Hollywood, and I want to be a rock star.
I told my parents I didn't want to get married.
Oh, yeah?
Well, it happened.
They
But go
told me
ahead.
not to get married.
Good for you.
4 times. So my dad said, look, this is the deal. They didn't go to college. They had, like, my mom was a nurse, so she went to nursing school. And my dad went to, like, a trade school to learn how to be a plumber and stuff. And he did well. But he said, go to college, get a degree in whatever you want. And then after you're finished, I'll take you to California or Los Angeles, and I'll get you a little house, a rent house, and you be a freaking rock star.
What?
Yeah, and so I said, okay, so I want to study music.
Go to Cali?
Yeah, well, that's where I wanted to go. I wanted to move to Los Angeles, where the music scene was.
Wow, that's brilliant.
So, anyways, long story short, I graduated from college on a Saturday, came back to San Antonio on a Sunday, and I started my first teaching job on a Monday at a high school. And so I didn't get to go to California to be a rock star because back then it was a trip because people, you know how much I made. My salary was $18,000 a year, but that was in '91, and I was just
Well,
like,
that's how much I make.
I was like, wow. I was like, I could go be a rock star, or I could make $18,000 a year. I was like,
You're
I'd
better
rather
off.
make
So
the
you
mo-
didn't make it to Cali after all.
No, but
Sound like a good story.
it was a great story. But like at the school that I worked at, I had lunch duty every day, and I would walk into the cafeteria. Mr. Santa!
What?
And they would come up to me, and the kids. I felt like Jesus, coming, all these little kids. And
There's something about the kids that does it.
But
anyway.
it was like, what? I told that story to the teacher friends of mine, and they were like, "Dude, you are a freaking rock star. Look at this. All the kids are just going crazy about you." And
And that's what they called really hip teachers back in the days, rock stars.
And it was like, you know what? I don't regret anything. I got to do music. I got to teach music all my life. I got to play music all my life.
I'd love to have your job.
Yeah, it was. It's amazing.
I had a child and I had to teach my son.
Yeah.
I had a child, and that's when I said I didn't want to get married, and they said you'd better.
Yeah.
It's responsibility,
Yeah.
So I did it on behalf of responsibility.
Yeah.
I don't think I was very responsible at it, but I tried.
You try.
Yeah. So, okay. From that point on, you go to grade school. Were you in any bands during grade school?
No, not until.
Or you blew it off until?
No, not
afterward?
until 8th grade or 7th grade. I went to it. Remember I told you I
That's
moved?
grade school?
Yeah.
No, it isn't. That's junior high.
Because I would go to church like at St. Paul's because we had to go to church on Mondays and practice singing for the church service on Friday.
Right.
That's how you did it at Catholic school.
Sure.
And I was just mesmerized by all these kids singing in a church and the sound. In a big giant church, the reverb.
Oh,
I didn't
yeah.
know what that was, but I would just like. Tell my parents like that when we sang it.
That
was
house
like this,
reverb, man, you
Yeah,
can't
there was
beat
like
it.
this echo.
And the smell of, hosts. the
Yeah,
wafer.
or that freaking incense that they
That too.
But there was a teacher named Miss Dietrich, played a 12-string guitar, and I would look forward to for Mondays and Fridays because I got to go sing and listen to this teacher play guitar. And then in 7th grade I moved and I met a friend of mine named Joe Dans. He's still my friend, and he was a really good guitar player. And he showed me how to like on the phone. We'd be on the phone and he'd be like, "Okay, hit the little string, ding ding ding." And he was like, "Make it sound like
phone, I love
mine,
it.
ding ding ding." And he would tune my guitar on the phone, or he'd show me. And then he got in a band, and some friends asked him if he would be in a band with them, and he said, "Not unless my friend Manny joins the band too."
How cool is that?
And they already had 2 guitar players, and they were like, "Well, we already got another guitar player." And he was like, "Well, then I'm cool. I don't want to be in your band because he needs to be in the band with me." So they said yes, and so we had 3 guitar players, and it turned out that those guys.
That's Leonard Skinner right there.
Yeah, they made that band. They were my friends from St. Paul's, but they didn't know who I was. I mean, they didn't know Manny was the other guy. And so, anyways, yeah, we were called Fusion, and we sucked terribly, but we did it.
I've never sucked.
Yeah.
No, I've never sucked. Honest to God.
you're
After
lucky.
La Bamba, I was lucky. But then I had my brother, so we were pretty heavy duty on getting it right.
Yeah. Well, nobody taught me. I had to learn everything by myself. You
Wow.
know? And when I went to college,
And so you didn't have anybody in the family that played.
I had an uncle, but he
That's
played like
great,
the
man.
old school Spanish music,
Yeah.
the way they
The old,
corridos.
yeah,
You know,
norteño kind
yeah,
of, yeah.
that polkas
That's
and
old
stuff.
stuff.
Yeah,
I love
old,
that
old.
stuff.
It's good, but
I really dig that stuff. I
know-
grew up on that.
well, I was into Kiss and Rush, and UFO, and those bands, Judas Priest, and he was like, "No, you learn some Spanish music." I'm like, "Nah, I don't want
I'm
to."
going to say I did not appreciate Kiss or Rush until after they broke up.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, I wasn't into their sound. And then afterward, I had a chance to really listen to it, and I thought, geez, they were all pretty good. This was a good gimmick. It was a great sound. You
Yeah.
know, it was a great avenue to go through.
yeah.
I just wasn't moved by it at the time. Yeah, and like everybody else was. Everybody was, yeah, wow, you know.
Kiss.
I don't know why. Or moreover, Rush, you know, our
Well,
local guys, our
Look,
local
I got
heroes.
the red star right there from Rush.
Jesus,
Oh, I
man.
was gonna do the naked guy, with the butt crack.
This guy's all painted up.
But the tattoo guy said, because he was asking me what I did for a living, I told him I'm a school teacher, and he was like, "Are you sure you want to get? You sure you
Satanic
want to
worship.
get that fucking guys with the ass crack? Because the kids are gonna see it." And they're like, "Yeah, you're right. Never mind." So, that's my story, man.
No, it's
that's
all right.
So far.
But listen, you have the BYFIST.
Mm-hmm.
So, BYFIST, what exactly does that mean? BYFIST?
There is a guy, and he's a friend of mine too. His name's William Lopez. And back in the day, I met him back in 8th grade, and he called himself Bill BYFIST. And I was like, "That's so cool. That's your name?" And he was like, "No, it's William
Where
Lopez."
did he get the BYFIST from?
I have no idea.
Fist?
Just BYFIST. And it's BY, not BI.
Yeah.
And
I wrote that down.
So I knew them back then, and there was a guitar player in that band named Dave Lee. He passed away, but we had a real big beef. The dude hated me because we played with the drummer and the bass player from BYFIST. That's how we made Zero the Hero back in 2000. And they gave me a cassette. And they said, "Learn these songs, and that way we could play some music together." And I listened to them, and it turned out to be all BYFIST songs. And I was like, I knew these songs because from 8th grade. And so we started playing them, and I had an 8-track recorder, and I said, can we record them? Just to record. And they were like, yeah. So we recorded, and I had a friend who used to give me blank CDs, hundreds of them, and I just burned them, and we just give them out at the gigs. We wouldn't charge anybody, just give them out. And Dave Lee is the guy who wrote all the songs. He found out. And he was like calling me like, "Dude, I'm gonna sue you, and I'm gonna fucking do this." I go, "Sue me for what? I ain't making any money. I'm keeping your music alive, brother."
True that.
And he hated me, and I would freaking talk all kinds of shit to him and stuff. And then before he passed, I was like, we need to bury the hatchet, And then he died.
Oh, man.
And I was like, man.
Well, at least you were thinking in terms of burying the hatchet. I think that's very admirable.
Well, and then BYFIST asked me to join them, to be the Dave Lee of the band, to learn his parts.
So, since he's gone, who's in that band?
Nacho is a friend of ours, Nacho Vara, Roctavio. That's our drummer.
Roctavio, drummer like that. There's a stage name for
Yeah,
you.
well,
Roctavio.
Octavio, but we call him
Yeah.
Everybody has a name.
Octavio, yeah, sure.
Nacho is El Capitan, and
Órale.
Roctavio, and then we got a guy named Stoney Grantham, who's from the Valley, and
they're all alive.
huh?
They're all alive and well, right?
Oh yeah. I'm gonna go see him in a few minutes. I have a rehersal. We have.
I don't hate to think they're all gone.
Yeah, we actually BYFIST had a record label, and but they got tired of waiting for the new Second Seed album, so they let us go, which was okay because we wanted to we want to shop around for a different label. So they had control of the band, and then we got an email saying, "Hey, look, we waited too long for the second album, and we're gonna have to let y'all go." And we're like, "Okay." Worked out, we didn't have to like break a contract or make anybody mad. So
when did you start Acoustic 57? Was that just several years ago?
Yeah, in 2020.
When you started hitting it?
Yeah,
before, right during the time COVID hit.
Yeah, because we were in Acoustic 57. I mean, we were in Unit 57, me and Paul.
See, I knew there was a history to this gig.
To which one?
From you were in 157, Heinz 57 band, and then you went to Acoustic 57.
Yeah. Because we're going to call ourselves Acoustic Kitchen, because at the old house that I have,
I've got some chicken.
Yeah, well, I had a show called Cooking Up Some Riffs with Manny. Remember when we were all in lockdown?
Yeah.
And Bill BYFIST said it because I used to do Facebook Lives, and I would get like old songs like The Gambler, like or the Coward of the County. That's the one I did. Kenny Rogers,
Oh
remember?
yeah, getting all the greats
And
from
I
Kenny
would get all
Rogers.
the karaoke tracks and download them, and then learn the voice part on the guitar. And I would be doing it while I was cooking food. I'd be like making some freaking caldo and stuff, and I'd be like, okay, the caldo, and I would start playing the songs, and hold on, I'm gonna check the caldo, folks, you know. And it was all live, and I had like a big following. And then Bill BYFIST said "Cooking Up Riffs with Manny," and I was like,
Hey,
yeah,
that's not a bad show.
The show was called on
Not
Facebook.
a bad show.
And so, anyways,
I put out everything I burned.
yeah.
I put out everything I burned, like my breakfast or what have you. I'm still trying, man. I'm still single, so I'm still working on it.
Yeah.
As a teacher, what do you think your best reward is?
Hearing, well, there's a lot, man. I mean, you know,
Just showing up.
showing up, and then, you know, the kids are just like at my door, just like, can't wait to get into music class. And like, hey, Mr. Santos, tomorrow we have music, you know. And then I tell them, tomorrow we're off. It's a holiday. And they're like,
Oh, bummed down, huh?
can we come today? And it's like, no, because I have
Oh
other
my
kids
gosh.
coming. Yeah, it's a trip, dude. They just love it, you know, and it just that admiration that they have towards me, and then the admiration I have towards them, you know, is, you know, they're little kids, dude. I teach pre-K, and they're like 3 years old, and the teachers
They
are like,
sound like they're in the 6th grade,
yeah,
man.
but they're like, you
Very
know,
knowledgeable.
and try to, you know, it's like herding cats at first, you know, like getting 19, 20,
Herding cats?
3-year-olds to sit, you know.
And they're live wire.
Yeah, and they're all like, yeah. You know, remember I told you my professor named Rex Wilson, he used to put on, it was in college, he used to put on a stinking show during class.
A stinking show?
It was a show. He
Okay.
would like say, today we're going to study.
Couldn't it have smelled good?
Yeah, and then he would just be like dancing and just like, you know, saying, and I would be like, everybody would just be glued to him,
Oh, wow.
listening.
You
And then
almost
before
scared
you
me.
knew it, it's like,
You almost scared me there for a minute,
No,
man.
no,
I got
and-
chills. Hey.
so I did that, you know, when I started teaching. I said, if I ever become a teacher, I'm going to do like Rex Wilson and put on a show. And I did it, and the teachers would tell me, watch out for this one. He's on fire today. He's
Oh,
like, you
wow.
know, don't just call the office.
Yeah, I wanted to go to your school and just drop into that class of which did that chicken song for me and just say hi, you know.
Yeah.
And introduce myself as a real person.
Yeah.
You know, because they were singing like they knew me.
Yeah.
So anyway, that was the
Well,
thought process.
a friend of mine is a friend of theirs.
Amen to that.
You know what I'm saying?
Amen to that.
So,
Speaking of friends, your new CD, which is coming out, it's BYFIST that you're working that new CD out, right? With,
Yeah.
Which is, we're coming full circle.
yeah.
How many songs have you yourself written off that
Well,
album, or
okay,
are you just
so
collaborating?
Here's the deal: is that a lot of the songs were already written; they just weren't recorded. Nacho Vara is the capitan of the band, and
Órale, Nacho.
yep, Nacho Ignatius. He wrote all the songs, and Dave Lee, and so we're just this album. I'm having to learn the songs that they wrote a long time ago, and then we're gonna record them. And on the third album, that's when I get to, because I have a library of freaking songs that I was gonna put out with Zero the Hero, but it just never happened. And they said wait till the third album, Manny BYFIST, and then we'll include some of your stuff in there. But they gave me free reign. Like, here's the song. They send me the demo, and I learn it. And then they said, if you hear something that you want to do,
Add it. Feel
add it.
free, huh?
Yeah, or if you think that part doesn't work, let us know.
That's
We'll
cool.
figure
You
it
know, I
out.
love when they leave that open.
Yeah,
for
yeah,
you.
yeah. It's not a dictatorship by any means.
That's the
This
word I was
band-
looking
yeah,
for.
it's not. It
Dictatorship, with an emphasis on the dick part.
Yeah.
Hey, you're headed to the Corn Pound.
The corn. I never heard of it. You're
I
right.
thought you were talking.
That
horn,
sounds kind of
was
like
kind of
like
rank.
my
right?
butthole hurt when I said
Pornhub is what I heard.
like corn pound. I'm like, wow. I don't know if I want to go practice there, but
Actually, I hear it's a studio.
it is. It's a venue, studio, or something. I've never been there.
I've never been either. I'd
We
like to
usually
go.
go to Ragner's on the compound, which is in San Marcos, because the band BYFIST, we don't live. Me and Nacho are the only ones that live in San Antonio, and Octavio does now too.
So everybody's coming in from out of
From
town.
like Pflugerville, from Spring Branch.
Hey, man,
you
those
know.
are a long ways away.
Yeah, so we have to find a place that's kind of like like the happy medium for everybody.
Yeah,
So
but you know, those two places, Pflugerville, the other places you mentioned, they have a different taste on music.
Oh, yeah.
So a lot of times when you're bringing cats from a different part of the state of Texas, you'll get that different part of music
Yeah.
in that, and I think that's really pretty neat.
Yeah.
You know, I'm sure it adds to your repertoire.
Yeah.
So you're still family with these guys, and you're still funny. You also talk about your 57 band, Acoustic 57, as being humorous.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
And there for a while you were putting out some videos whereby y'all were just giggling and laughing and going after it. Were y'all drunk or high?
No, you know what? Me and Paul, when we first started, we were playing downtown a lot.
Yeah.
And the venue was just feeding us drinks. You know, they were like, because
that's why you were happy.
Well, but they made these margaritas out of agave or something. I don't know what. But
yeah.
My God!
Agave,
you drink one, it's
tequila.
like
Yeah.
it's like whoa, and
it's so you can hardly even taste it. It does burn, and
oh,
then
it
all of a
was
sudden
heavy,
you're like
man.
lit.
But then it's a frozen drink, and we're playing outside in a patio, and it's freaking hot, and we would drink like 2 of them and just get freaking smashed, really. And I was Paul and I. We would get in fights like after the gig.
What?
Yeah, because we were all drunk. I don't freaking need you, dude. I don't need.
Are
this,
you
fuck
kidding?
you.
No
And I'd say,
way.
fuck you too. And then the next day, it's just like, hey man,
I love you, bro.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm sorry too. And so what we did, we just said,
That's all grown up stuff,
Yeah,
man.
but-
There are people that hang on to stuff like that and they just can't get over it.
Well, because we knew we
That's
had
silly.
something going on. We
Yeah.
knew we had a good vibe together, and so we just said, you know what? Let's not drink anymore, man. Let's just play and make people happy and make it fun.
Yeah.
Make some money. Why not?
Well, actually, all this came from pain and misery. I'll touch on that later on, but this show came about from pain and misery.
Yeah.
And I felt, what's the point in dealing with that?
Yeah.
And I thought, well, I went into prayer. We were talking about church. And I felt that the Lord had told me, turn to me, I'm your joy and laughter.
Yeah.
And talk to people just like you that are funny and happy-go-lucky. And that's how this show was born, really.
Well, good.
Just came about from a good thought, a good feeling.
Yeah.
And you're living proof that it works, because you're a nice guy and you talk up a great story. Speaking of guys, which is not really a guy here, Sharon Perkins is due to be on the show tonight from Fitzgerald's.
Oh, yeah? I know Sharon. Hi, Sharon.
Hi, Sharon. I couldn't get her in during the daytime, so she's opted for an 8 p.m., of which I'll probably be pretty ragged out by then.
Yeah.
But, I'll do it for her, man.
Yeah.
Because she's got enough stories. She's got a haunted Fitzgerald's.
Oh,
Have
yeah.
you heard about that?
It's like a ghost in there or something.
Yeah. There's a ghost in there.
Yeah.
I can't wait to talk to her about that. But I just wanted to mention she's our buddy. Your buddy, too.
Yeah. I know
And
Sharon
she
very
supports everybody, so, we're
Yeah.
trying to support her back at her.
Yeah.
And I've done Sam's, the Cove, a number of venues throughout the state. So finally going to look to be doing remotes, but no big hurry, man. It feels good in here, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does.
You
And everything's plugged in. And
everything's plugged in, and you get a good sound.
Yeah.
You do a remote, you're left to the airwaves.
Yeah.
And you just never know how it's going to go, especially on a talk show.
Yeah.
And if you're playing, well, just turn it up. Just play loud.
Yeah.
That's good. Good loud. Good speakers. Great drums.
Yeah.
But things go kind of haywire periodically. I don't know if you recall, on this show we have a thing called Most Memorable Silly Moments. Mm-hmm. And I'm going to need for you to think about a most memorable silly moment that you have gone through either at a gig or on the way to a gig. Talk about you and your buddy getting drunk and saying, to hell with you. That's one of them, okay?
Yeah.
Just to latch on to your train of thought.
I got one for you.
Good. I knew it. See, he's got 20 of them. I know he does, but we've got one here. We'll go with it.
It's funny now.
Most memorable silly moments right here on San Antonio Musicians Radio Network.
So me and Paul, we have a skit. When we play, it's a show. Okay, we don't just play songs in the corner and we give away stuff. We go to with our tip money. We go to Dollar Tree.
Yes.
And buy freaking, toilet brushes or Tupperware.
That's where I get my back scratchers from.
Yeah, well, that's what we call them, back scratchers. the toilet
Yes.
brush.
Yeah, that's yours right there. That's your. Do you have one already at home?
I do.
On the piano, on the piano
this
key.
one, yeah, no, I don't have one of these. But
I gotta stamp it with my
it's
logo.
it's all like trivia.
Yeah.
And then so we do Hotel California, and we do a pretty cool acoustic version of it. And we tell I start off the song like this. I go, I got to tell you, we're going to give away a fabulous prize on this next song. Here's the deal.
A brand new car.
Yeah, at the end of the song, I'm going to count to 3. And then I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, and then I go, my son. I point to Paul, and he goes, "I love you, Dad." I go, "I love you, baby." And he said, people are like, "Is that really your son?" And we're like, "Yeah, he is." he's whiter than freaking your
He's
wall,
all grown
dude.
up.
Huh?
He's older now.
Yeah, but he's white. I go, "You should have seen his mom." You know? So he's not my son, but we do that. And I said, back
relatives.
in 1974, me and my son, we wrote this next song, and then we turned around and we sold it to this band. I can't tell you the band because
Now this is what you're telling.
Yeah,
them.
this is what we're telling the people.
Okay, it's
we
funny
wrote this
already.
next song in 1974, and the people are like, "How old is he?" He's like, "He's old." All right, just let me finish, ma'am. And I said, we want to know what year this song was released. And then so we start Hotel California. They don't know what song it is, and we start Hotel California, and we play the whole thing. At the end of when the solo comes out, we have wireless guitar systems, so we all get up. We both get up and we go into the crowd and we play, and then we give. Somebody says, "What year was it released?" And we raise our hand. 76, correct. So we give them, some freaking hemorrhoid
And this is all
cream.
made up story anyway.
Yeah, it's
so
all
whatever
made up
they
story.
say,
Yeah.
you're cool with it.
Yeah. And then so most
That's
memorable funny moment. It's not funny, but it is funny because we laugh about it now. But there was this man at one of the gigs, and he was completely blind, right? And we'd play song. He'd be like, "Can you play this song?" And we're gonna play this song for the man in the hat back there. And we were like catering to that guy all night. And his friend would bring him up, and he would like fill the tip jar and put money.
He was blind.
Yeah, he was blind, dude. 100% blind. And at the end of the show, the gig, he came up to us, the blind guy, and he was all like, he was like crying, and it's not funny, but it is funny because when we think about it. And I'm like, "What's going on?" And he said, I suffer from this, I suffer from that, I suffer from this ailment, I have this, I have that, and my life is pretty depressing. But tonight was one of the most incredible nights of my life, hearing y'all's music. And he goes, and I'm honored to be standing in the same room with the guys that wrote Hotel California. I'm like, Paul was telling him like, "Dude,
Oh man,
don't freaking."
that is funny.
Yeah, it's
and
like,
I'm
like,
honored.
"Oh, yeah, it was cool. Thank you, man. Here's a toilet brush. Take off. Thank you, sir." So it's not
That was the toilet brush was my original back scratcher.
Yeah,
I want
it
you to
works,
know.
doesn't
Yeah,
it?
it works
Yeah,
really.
fucking
It works better than those.
a dollar
All the
store.
brushes.
Yeah, and it feels good. It's like,
Yeah, it was good back
Yeah.
scratcher. So okay, look, here's my phone.
What does that mean? Oh, somebody's calling you.
Yeah, it's.
Do you want to
It
answer?
wouldn't be no.
Oh. What if
It
I
wouldn't be
answered it?
magic, if I didn't play that song every time. So when you call me, that's what I hear, and I'm like, "Oh, there's Manny."
Yeah.
It's called Circus.
All right.
I don't know, for whatever that's worth. So do you have any more memorable silly moments? I'm just, you're on a
Dude,
roll, man.
we could be here for weeks, man, because just my life is full of, it's every day it's something,
I had one, but all of a sudden it just, that fleeting moment happened. It took off into my brain. It just went and sat in the back room somewhere.
Yeah, it's all right.
Anyway, yeah.
Yeah.
But I've had a lot of them. I've said so many of them on this show. Well, there was one where I'm actually recording the guys in Austin. I'm at Antone's 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, whatever, and I'm recording, and actually, Soul Man Sam is blind, and I see his wife walking him up and sitting him down. Everything's cool, they're together, but he knows his way around, even though because he plays at Antone's all the time, so he knows his way around, and I was trying to be nice. I see Sam kind of walking out real slow, and she had walked him to his chair, so I thought, well, maybe he needs a little help. And so I get up, and first thing that happens is I knock the tripod over with the camera. That goes down, and the guy next to me catches it, and I say, oh, good catch. He puts it up. I still go to try to help. So there's a double whammy. I try to walk Sam right around the corner to his chair, and then his wife looks at me and says, he knows his way. He can get there. Oh, my God. I felt like I just insulted somebody, But all I was trying to do was help, man. I was trying to help Soul Man Sam, who's now a friend of mine. And he's just a great guy. He is almost 100% blind. I think he's 98% blind.
Yeah.
But a hell of a showman, man. Hell of a showman. And because the band was so loud, it bounced right off of the record.
Yeah.
So I got video, but no sound. And it might have been when the thing fell over.
Oh, yeah.
So even before, but I did get the opening act, and they were worth it. They were really worth it.
Yeah.
So the opening act was really good. All Austin kind of sound.
Yeah.
Their sound is much different than ours.
Yeah.
It's almost more grown up.
Yeah. I don't know. I used to live in Bastrop, and I was in a band in Austin, and I would go see other bands, and it's just a different. I didn't like it.
Yeah.
So I didn't like the vibe.
Yeah.
But
because when you find musicians in a place like that, they're usually from abroad.
yeah.
From what kind of broad, I'm not sure, but they're from
We're
abroad.
all from abroad, actually.
We're all from abroad. Yeah, here's a memorable silly moment.
Yeah.
Yeah, but they come from everywhere, and they add to that kitchen soup.
Yeah. Yeah.
Blues Kitchen. Shout out to you guys, Blues Kitchen. I'm on my way, man. Still working my way. So we've come to a moment in time where we have shout-outs. Mm-hmm. So if you had a shout-out to do to anyone, who might it be? And you can do multiples.
Multiple.
Well,
yeah.
Multiple shout-outs.
To my lady Bertha for supporting me.
Bertha.
Yeah, she's got her.
She
headphones
shook
on.
my hand and almost broke it.
Yeah. No, she's a good woman. She really is. She's really
strong
smart
too.
and-
That's what you could say. She's a strong woman.
She's a strong woman. She is. She could beat me up. I know. Her.
I didn't want to piss her off.
All my friends that Paul.
She's oblivious to what we're saying, by the way.
She has headphones on. That's how she. If you took the headphones off, it's blasting Pink Floyd.
Oh, really?
Blasting.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, she's a big Pink Floyd fan, and but yeah,
shout out to Valmora.
to
Yeah,
my,
he's big on Pink Floyd as
yeah,
well.
I don't know Val too. Paul Browski, he's a really good friend of mine, Acoustic 57. Yeah, he and I, in the short 3-4 years that we've been together, we've been through a lot, and
You've been through a lot of breakups and makeups.
and we just know, he's one of the only guys that I've ever played with that's he's younger than I am. Like I told you, he's like 34, 35 years old, and so when I met him, he was younger, but he's like so mature. Like he gets it. It's like, dude, we got this great product that we do together, and if we disagree, then oh well, we just disagree. Just know that I don't agree with what you're saying, or you don't agree with what I'm saying, but we're in a group together.
I was once told by the Broken Duck Feet band, I forget his name, but there's a memorable silly moment right there.
Yeah.
Oh, the guy, he loves to drink beforehand. I don't know why, but he was smashed. Michael was the lead vocalist, the owner and originator of Broken Duck Feet band. So I joined, and we're doing a gig over at Ingleside. Big gig, big venue, packed house, and the guy's wasted beforehand. And we start playing, and okay, we're getting away with murder here. We're playing pretty good. Everything's going great. Everybody's dancing. Then at about the third set, the guy's definitely smashed out of his head. He can hardly even get on stage. We have to walk him up. And he gets up on the mic, and he looks at the whole crowd, and I'm sitting as drummer, so I can see everybody, right? And the guy said, "This is cray, man, so you have to forgive me. It's not in the Bible, but this is a word." The guy gets up, and he looks at everybody and goes, "How many of y'all out there masturbate?" Oh, my God. I'm like, you did not just say that. All of a sudden, I literally saw people like, some laughed, the others got pissed off, and some just started get up and leave.
Yeah.
And as soon as, as a drummer, you have to kind of just move along, get everything to move along. And I came up with the line, well, I tried it once and I'm still going blind. And then I went, but no, you know, and then they sat their asses down and said, start another song.
Yeah.
And we went into it, and I don't even know, I think he fell over on my drums. Yes, he did. He turned around trying to, like, you know, acknowledge, you know, okay, we're going into the next song. And he crashed into my drums.
Wow.
His guitar and him. It was like that video where the Tejano guy was trying to, I think he was getting up on the...
Climb back on the stage.
Yeah, and then he fell over with his
Yeah.
guitar.
Yeah.
It was like that, only with cymbals included.
Oh, wow.
But that was another late, memorable silly moment. It's a tongue twister, too. But funny, isn't it?
Yeah.
That's great. He had to be out of his mind. I don't
Well-
think he knew what he was saying, because that you don't typically ask your audience that kind of question.
No.
Yeah, and you don't even talk about it, so that's kind of great. That's weird. Weird. So, burning desire, last and not least, but not least, a burning desire. If you have anything to say, because now's your chance, you're on the talk show, the one and only comedy talk show in the nation. Did you know that, by the way?
Oh, I didn't know.
San Antonio Musicians Talk Show Network is the first and one and only all musicians comedy talk show in the nation. And it's not so much comedic. It's lighthearted conversation like this
It's
and
life.
funny,
Yeah, yeah.
you know. And I call it raw talk, and that's what it is.
Yeah.
So if you have a burning desire, one last thing, maybe that I didn't cover through asking you certain questions or what have you.
Does it have to do with music?
Yeah, no. I mean, anything you want. Like, you might want to tell them what you're up to, where you're going to be playing next, if anything like that floats your boat.
Yeah. Okay. Well,
We know today you're at the Pornhub.
the cornhole or something.
Cornhole.
Corn pound.
We'll get it right. Corn pound.
Okay.
They're a big act too.
Yeah.
Shout out to you guys.
Yeah. Well, BYFIST, just like I said, we're we're in pre-production of this new album. And we have, I don't know if we're playing. There's a band. Remember Kingdom Come? I don't know if you remember them from the
I've
80s.
heard of Kingdom Come. It's up there, isn't it?
No, it's a band. And
Okay, no, not
they,
that.
They were like 80s or 90s, but I think Sharon.
I thought it was Heaven.
Yeah, Sharon's gonna.
That would
bring
be a
them to
good name
town.
of a band.
Heaven. There is a band
It
called
must be-
Heaven.
really?
Yeah, one of my favorite bands.
Oh wow. I didn't know.
But speaking of Sharon, she's bringing this band into town in a couple of weeks.
Cool.
And BYFIST is supposed to do an opening slot for them. And then there's a old metal band with a bunch of girls. They're called Burning Witches. And
Burning Witches.
It's set in stone, so please,
Yeah. If it changes,
it's
it
in the
changes.
works.
Yeah.
We don't know if we're going to do it or not, or if they're even coming. I know they're on tour, but not till like November or something like that. And yeah, that's it. And then I post all the Acoustic 57 gigs on my Facebook page. So
I'd say follow Manny.
Yeah,
Follow Manny. He's
Manny
got a great
Santos.
setup. Manny Santos.
Yeah.
And he's got a great setup. This has been his show. My burning desire would be to talk about my new engineer. I've known him for quite some time, Caleb Preston Smith. Yesterday he was here. We sat for about 3 hours working out this sound. I think we finally got it right. I came up with this little intro bit, of which I'm not even going to do a second time because probably flub that up. But yeah, Caleb sat here and we were trying to get this sound right. Couldn't get it for the life of us. We were going through A through Z method, his methodology. So I finally mentioned, what about the Focusrite? And he said, well, that's what I had said to begin with. Hooked up the Focusrite. Bingo.
the interface.
Yes.
Yeah.
For recording voice, for recording sound, for
Yeah,
recording
yeah.
period. But it's there's a science to all this.
Yeah.
And I thought in my head, of which I believe it does have an interface too. Now, why it wasn't working, we have no idea.
The mixer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm just saying, but that's a 24 Samson. So I mean, it has. I believe it has an interface already built in.
Yeah.
But for some reason, this just wouldn't take, so we went about it a different route, and we come up with some really good sound. I think you're going to hear it. Well, you heard it on our intro,
Yeah.
our test.
Yeah.
And you were asking me, where's the camera? Where's the camera? And I said, it's underneath you. And what did you say?
I said, if I rip ass, is the camera going to pick that up?
That's funny, guys. If I rip ass.
Rip ass. Sorry.
That's funny, man. So anyway, this has been the Manny Santos Show. I'm Ed Ocampo Sr. for San Antonio Musicians Talk Show Network, and also your wife, Bertha, lovely Bertha. And, we're going to send love to everybody, man. This is the Manny Santos Show. Ta-ta, we love you. It's been a gas, hasn't it, Manny?
Yeah, thanks, Ed.
Hey.
It's been a long time. I mean,
I know.
I'm sorry it took too long, so long.
Now here's the gig. I get to go to one of your shows, sit in and jam.
Yeah.
And I get in free, naturally.
And
I don't pay any
backstage
cover.
passes.
Backstage passes included, yeah. Because
It's
I'll
the
probably have a
restroom.
date. Hopefully it's a girl. Hopefully it's a gal. I don't know.
Yeah, well, we'll
But
find
anyway,
you somebody.
A lot of love to everybody. Here we go. Another
Bye.
one bites
Adios.
the dust.